Hi, hello everyone. Thank you for joining this this webinar. So the project we are presenting today has been initiated by construction site supervisors and managers to answer a recurring problem in large construction projects. How we can organize hundreds, sometimes thousands of workers across very large sites, and how we can answer the simple question of who's doing what. And it's actually very important to know where everyone is on a construction site, because first of all, for safety reasons, in case of emergency evacuation, if you're on a IA tower, you need to measure the progress of the evacuation and make sure no one is left behind. But also, it's important to know where everyone is, because to organize a project properly, as project director, you need to make sure every contractor is on site with the right staffing at the right place. It's the only way to keep up with the program. Today, if you want to do that, you need to send supervisors, will count workers floor per floor manually, and I let you imagine how tedious and inefficient that process can be. This is for these two reasons: improve safety on site and help projects manage their resource more efficiently, that Reconstruction Asia started to look at geolocation technology. So they quickly contacted us at Omniscient. Omniscient is a startup created through Reconstruction Entrepreneurship Program in 2018. This program aims at accelerating innovative ideas that can help the construction industry. Omniscient has strong roots in the construction industry. Most of us have a background in construction. Our team is composed of developers, IoT specialists, data scientists. We have already delivered several projects involving geolocation and asset tracking for big construction entities. And we enter early this year Briggs Group Incubator for a 12-month program that will help us to commercialize our product at a much larger scale. Our mission is in Omniscient is to improve productivity on sites thanks to geolocation technologies and data analysis. And for that, we have developed a multi-technology geolocation platform dedicated to the construction industry. So first of all, why multi-technology? Well, because there isn't any one-size-fits-all technology to answer construction use cases. You need both indoor and outdoor solutions. You need to track plants and engine, but also power tools, which are much smaller. That's why we created a single platform that allows us to and allow construction managers to visualize all their resources on their project drawings independently of the technology. So far, we have integrated devices using LoRaWAN networks, Sigfox networks, BLE, GPS, Wi-Fi, and of course, the Wirepas technology. So by design, from the beginning, partnerships are in Omniscient DNA. When we launched Omniscient, we chose to focus on the platform, on construction use cases, and only do that. So from day one, we had to find partners to work with us, like hardware manufacturers, geolocation technology providers such as Wirepas. And so far, we are really happy with our choices because it helps us to deliver a project much faster if that we wanted to build a complete solution on our own. And I'd like to illustrate that in details with a use case we delivered in Singapore earlier this year. So Draga Singapore, the entity of Reconstruction there, wanted to test the solution on one of their major projects, the Glory Tower in the central district of Singapore. It's a 51-floor mixed-usage development, including offices, commercial center, apartments. It's a very ambitious program involving about 1,800 workers at peak, and at some stages, the site was working 6 days a week, days and nights. So for Draga Singapore, the main goal of the project was, first of all, for the first time, to test an indoor location solution on a project this size. I'll explain in a few minutes the challenges we had to overcome to make the solution a success on that type of project. They wanted to improve safety on site thanks to real-time headcount per floor. They wanted their project managers to manage contractors on site in a better way. They wanted to know in real time the headcount per contractors, per floor. They also wanted to know how the headcount was evolving every day and to calculate the hours work per contractor. And finally, more for a planning and staffing point of view, the project team needed to know how many men and hours were required to complete a typical office floor, for example, to fine-tune their program and ramp-up strategy and make sure they deliver the project on time. So it's with the objective in mind, and that we thought that the best way to achieve an accurate location on such a large-scale project and for realistic costs, we had to use the Wirepas technology. It was the best fit for us. And for the clients, what they expected from that project, it was to reduce supervision on site. It's thousands of hours saved thanks to geolocation technology. And so they wanted to secure the program because any delays can have very, very expensive consequences, as you can imagine, on such a large project. So once again, same way I was explaining earlier, Omniscient always work with a complete ecosystem. So we work with partners to deliver this project. We work with ELE Innovation to supply tags and anchors. We use SolidSense industrial gateways to send back the data to a server in 4G. Wirepas supplies mesh network functionalities and positioning engine, and Omniscient provided the platform with its data analysis capabilities and the end user interface. So just as a quick reminder on asset tracking's use cases, we use anchors as a fixed referential for localization to route the position and diagnostic messages through the Wirepas network. Tags scan visible anchors and send radio measurement to the positioning engine. So with that, it allows us to locate workers with a 10-meter accuracy on average, with a 5 minutes refresh rate when they are moving. Because the Wirepas network is a low power network, anchors and tags can be battery operated for up to 5 years, which means that even on very long projects like this one, we don't have to worry about recharging tags, changing batteries, which is a good thing for us. And as for the Glory project, a typical floor were about 2,100 square meters, and every anchors was covering about 250 meters, square meters, which means about 9 anchors per floor. And as they are really, really simple to install, we could cover a floor in less than 30 minutes. Also, we had to dispatch several gateways on that project for redundancy, and also because some areas were isolated from one another, we choose to rely on a 4G network, as there is no Wi-Fi coverage on the construction area. Gateways were enclosed in waterproof, dustproof cabinets, and we provided a battery backup as the power supply is not always reliable on construction sites. And thanks to the mesh network, we only needed 9 gateways to cover 51 floors, which is, I mean, to my sense, is very good because that means less point of weakness in the network, less equipment that need to be plugged on a power supply. That's actually better for everyone because power supply on construction is very complicated to organize. We chose to work with ELE Innovation on that project, as they have a large variety of anchors and tags with a Wirepas stack in it. All are IP68 and robust enough for construction use cases. They have built-in accelerometers. They have LEDs built-in and buzzers we can activate remotely to alert workers if there is an emergency evacuation. For this project, we chose the PUC versions, so the average size one, as it could allow us up to 3 years of battery life. We could also easily mount them on a badge that the workers will wear. On other projects, we also work with a smaller version of the tag to track power tools. ELE innovation provides two types of anchors, but we choose to work with the PERC versions as it's 3 years of battery life was enough for the construction phase, and it is rather small and easy to install. That actually was a key element to deliver geolocation in construction sites. Omniscient is a multi-technology platform, so of course we are testing all the time new technologies, but as we are delivering use cases in construction business, we need to make sure that these technologies are a good fit for construction, for the construction use case, which is a very rough environment. So we absolutely want a battery-powered solution. We don't want to end up installing cables and antennas on site. Also, the infrastructures need to be deployed as the construction work progress. So you need a technology that the clients can install themselves. And it's exactly what the combination of the Wirepas mesh and the ELE innovation anchors provided us. So we tested or prototyped several solutions to install the anchors on site with cabling ties, cable trays, with super strong double side tape on wall. We also use steel bands on poles. And in average, a worker needs about 5 minutes to install a new anchor. So we just provided the teams, the P&E teams on site, a quick training for that, and we provided them installation app on their mobile, so they could register the location of the anchors, so we can set up the network as they go. So the Wirepas technology was, of course, the communication backbone on which the geolocation data relies on. So all the data we're collecting on site and set by the gateways to a Wirepas backend hosted in the cloud. We then use the Wirepas positioning engine to resolve latitude, longitude, and floors of the tags. And we retrieve those geolocations thanks to the WNT public API that we integrated in our platform. We chose to work with the Wirepas mesh network because it's actually very resilient, which is very important on a construction use case where everything is changing and moving all the time. So for us, the capacity of the network to reconfigure itself was really important, because in construction site, you can face a lot of changes, like a wall being built in, blocking communication between two anchors. So the network, just by himself, find another way to route the message, which is perfect for us. We don't have to do anything. Also, you don't need to be a telecom engineer to extend the network on site. We provided the team with a simple training, and they were able to extend the network as the building is, as the construction is progressing. Also, we like the fact that the Wirepas is providing a complete set of tools to supervise the network. Once again, for us, it's a huge time saver because when you are developing your own solution, you can then concentrate on the use case and the functionalities useful for your clients, not the technicalities of the network or the geolocation. So the third key component of the solution is, of course, Omniscient geolocation platform that I like to show you now. So the app is accessible from any PC, tablet, or smartphone. It integrates, you can integrate in it project drawings, design virtual areas. It allows you to visualize your workforce floor per floor, to filter it on multiple criteria like trades, nature of work, specific role in the organization like supervisor or safety officer. An elevation view of the building is also provided for a quick overview of the workforce dispatch in the tower. You can set up alerts, reports that can be sent, for example, so you can have an alert to when an unauthorized person enters a specific area. The platform itself had been designed to integrate different type of technologies, and we absolutely wanted it to be able to be set up really quickly for a new project. So we can integrate the CAD drawings of the construction building in the app. We can mass upload. We have a mass upload functionality available to create a list of badges with all their characteristics. So all in all, you can set up a new work site in about 2 hours at most. So for us, it was very important we wanted to be able to repeat that process on as many work sites as possible. Also, handing over and manage hundreds of badges on large project can be a challenge. So with our app, supervisors were able to reallocate badges really quickly, update names and jobs or role of the staff as the staffing of the project change. And finally, the last element of the project is built-in data analysis dashboard that Omniscient provide. It's a key component of our platform. It allows supervisors to visualize evolution of the workforce per day, hours work per area, per floor. All this information can be filtered by contractors, trades, nature of work. So you can dig into data to look at the hour per hour evolution of the staffing on a specific day, or take a broader view and see how the workers of a specific trade are moving inside the tower day after day. So it's all key data analysis to actually help project director and project managers to take the right decision at the right time and to engage a fruitful discussion with the contractors about the ramp-up strategy of the project. What really makes the solution we built really great is how fast it can be rolled out on sites. And that's actually thanks to the Wirepas functionalities on the fact that we are working with an ecosystem. Here, just as an example, a couple of milestones of the project. We received the purchase order just before Christmas. The hardware arrived on site at the end of January, just after the Chinese New Year. In the meantime, we prepared the deployments and set up the app. First week of February, a small team managed in 4 days on site to train the local resource so they understood the main functionalities of the app and were able to install anchors by themselves. We managed to install the anchors over more than 15,000 square meters. We commissioned 4 gateways, tested the system, made sure everything was working. And we ended a batch of 200 badges to the workers so the system can start working and collecting data right away. So all in all, the main strengths, I think, of the solutions are, first of all, the network resilience of the Wirepas network. And so I can't highlight how important it is on a construction site. I mean, it's absolutely impossible to rely on complicated geolocation system involving cabling and specific to be tuned very precisely. You need something that can be set up as fast as possible and works right away. Also, tags and anchors with a battery life that lasts for the whole duration of the project. So we know, once again, we don't need to worry about cabling. We don't need to worry about recharging the batteries. When you have 1,800 tags on site, it's absolutely impossible to make sure that they're all charged. So you need your battery to last for the project. The ease of installation of the system also is a very good thing, and you can your client can install it by themselves. Or Omniscient platform is also dedicated to the construction industry, so with ready-to-use functionalities for construction use cases. So it makes it much more faster to implement on a new project. And the last thing that was very important for us, and I think was good with this system, is the ease of supervision of the solution. diagnostic messages can be set at a regular interval, so we can supervise the network from 10,000 kilometers away. So for more than 2 months now, Tragash Singapore has managed to track 400 M&E workers on 10 office floors. So they started to get some benefits from the solutions. It gives them actually factual information to discuss with contractors about ramp-up and turnover issues. At the moment, the project has stopped at Singapore because Singapore is under lockdown to fight the COVID-19 spreading, and it really just restarting now. And we are working closely with project management and Singaporean authorities to see how the geolocation system can help them to restart the project faster while keeping everyone safe. So for that, we develop actually a specific health and safety functionalities using real-time count of workers per area and trigger alerts if the maximum is reached. So we can manage properly the density, the affluence of the workers on site to make sure that we limit the risk of a contagion of the virus. Also, we provide a tool for them for kind of a day-to-day analysis of the potential of prolonged contacts between workers, and a tool for them to demonstrate that actually the measures they've taken are efficient. And if they are not, I mean, if repeatedly they start to see problems on site, there are actually data to fine-tune the measures they have taken. So that was actually a new functionality we've developed to really improve the safety on site. And also, just to conclude, I mean, there's also huge operational benefits, of course, for the geolocation system. Just as I was discussing earlier, just to make sure that everyone is working at the right place, measure time spent per workforce. Also measure plants and equipment usage and optimize the way your teams share equipment, which is very useful. All the data collected also help the client to improve future projects because that gives them information about the workforce required per task. It helps them to identify bottleneck. It helps them to make sure that all their projects are under control, which is key in construction.